Could you unmute the UUFN, please? We're unable to hear anything on Zoom. Thank you.
I know the reason a lot of you came today was just to see how the audio compared this week with last week. And if you are a visitor either in person or online, we are glad you are with us, and we invite you to stay after the service to get acquainted. We welcome your questions and look forward to getting to know you. We have a few announcements to share before we begin the service. After the service today, please plan on staying for a special meeting to conduct a formal vote on the proposed allocation for the J. Linford Legacy. We will need at least 26 members present to meet the quorum requirement. Next Sunday, join us for the Love Ethic Standing at the Center, the Lived Theology of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Reverend Dr. King wrote of the love ethic standing at the center of many religions. What did that mean for him? And what does it mean for us today? Join Reverend Diana McLean, our Director of Family Ministries, and Worship Associate Bob Spear as we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. Again, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northfield.
We know what is hiding in those weak and sunken eyes, of fiery throngs of muted angels giving love but getting nothing back. Oh, people, help the people, and if you're homesick, give me your hand and I'll hold it. Nothing will drag you down. Oh, and if I had a brain, oh, and if I had a brain, I'd be cold as a stone and rich as the fool that turned all those good hearts away. We know what is hiding in this world of little consequence, behind the tears, inside the lies, 1,000 slowly dying sunsets. We know what is hiding in those weak and drunken hearts. Guess the loneliness came knocking, and no one needs to be alone. Oh, save me, people, help the people, and if you're homesick, give me your hand and I'll hold it. People, help the people, nothing will drag you down. Oh, and if I had a brain, oh, and if I had a brain, I'd be cold as a stone and rich as the fool that turned all those good hearts away. People, help the people, and if you're homesick, give me your hand and I'll hold it. People, I'd be cold as a stone and rich as the fool that turned all those good hearts away.
Thank you. Gorgeous. Good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Sara Smalley. I serve this congregation as its minister, and I am recovering from foot surgery, so did not drive here and will remain seated this whole service. So that's why I am removed from you all. It was like breaking my heart a little bit to not be able to hang out with you at the back of the sanctuary. So it is good to be here together this morning on this bright sparkle day in Minnesota winter. Our opening words today are from poet and minister Martha Postlewaite. The Clearing. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. We gather this morning to create a clearing in the dense forests of our lives. May what you have been hoping for fall into your waiting cupped hands, and may you recognize and greet it in this hour. May we learn here again and again how to give ourselves to this world so worthy of rescue. Come, let us worship together.
Each Sunday, we bring the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith to life together. As we light our chalice, we kindle the power of community and illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love. We join together in lighting our chalice with the words on the screen. Let us open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn.
For our time for all ages today, I'm going to show you one of my favorite shapes in the world. Actually, this was inspired by Mary Dore's necklace, so I'm sorry she can't be here today. I know it's a little strange to have a favorite shape. I actually have like 3 or 4 favorite shapes, but this is one of them at the top of the list. So first, we will start with, not surprisingly, a strip of paper. If you didn't have one of these, if you didn't grab one of these at the beginning, raise your hand, a greeter will bring one. We will actually use these more at the end of the service. So I'm gonna go through some stuff now and then we will use them at the end of the service. You will use them later. Okay, so first we start with this, turn it into a circle. It's a closed loop, nothing happens. But if you take one of the spots, simply twist it so the other side is next to it, it becomes something called a Mobius strip, which is an infinite loop. So if an ant or your finger were to follow its path, there is no inner or outer surface. It becomes all one surface. It doesn't have opposing sides. It just flows together. I am going to tape mine together. You all are not, because I'm going to show you more stuff, more magic stuff about this Mobius strip. Okay, so it is now taped together. And what do you think happens to this beautiful shape if I cut it apart down the center? Any guesses? If you know, no spoiler alerts. It just gets cut right in half and magically becomes an even bigger loop. The inner and outer worlds expanding when it itself expands. Now, one more step to the magic of Mobius strips. To save time, taped 2 together. If you try this at home later, which you should because it's fun, you have to twist one of them to the right, one of them to the left, tape them together. And then what do you think happens if 2 of them are both cut apart right down the center? First loop getting bigger. Second loop getting bigger. And then right? And then 2 hearts connected in infinite love. Try it at home. I love the gas fade, which I admit my 17-year-old even did when I showed him yesterday. With this image of the inner and outer infinite loop and infinite love connected, let us move into our time of joys and sorrows. We will use our chalice flame now to light our candles of compassion. We know the details of our daily lives are sacred and important, and we now light a candle for all of the simple joys that are sustaining us. Thank you, Lee. And we light another candle in honor of the sorrows and hardships we may be carrying. One more candle in honor of the joys and sorrows we carry in our hearts but have not been spoken aloud. Let us come together more fully into each other's presence and into the presence of the greater love that lives within us and among us. All of who you are is welcome here now. In this room today, there's heartache and fear, doubts and uncertainty, there is joy and there is promise. This sacred space we create together is strong enough to hold it all. Allow yourself an unhurried, unclenched breath. Pause now to open to the mysteries of life and love. I invite us to join together into a meditative experience of finding your center. Close your eyes or relax your gaze. Get comfortable in your seat. And breathe. Breathe fully and deeply. Breathe in, taking air into your body to nourish you. And breathe out, letting go of what your body no longer needs. Consciously center your attention on your own body and breath as it feels good to do so. If you notice distractions from outside or inside, just let them be. Imagine or sense within you your own center, nourished and protected by your breath. When you are feeling centered in yourself, let your focus shift to also take in those around you, either in person or on your Zoom screen. Sense in your imagination a connection from your center to the center of one of those others. Imagine an invisible thread, one between you and another person, another thread to another person, thread after thread after thread. Each between your center and the center of another. And as your mind takes in all of these threads, sense or imagine also the thread that starts from each of those others and connect to another, not just you, weaving an invisible net of connections. Center to center, true and best self to true and best self. Breathe in a sense of connection from others to the preciousness in you. Breathe out a sense of your connecting to these precious others. Breathe, center, connect. Feel the power that flows from your center through those threads, through other centers, and back to your center. Then imagine a thread from the present you're experiencing to the future. What from this experience do you want to carry with you into that future? What is a choice you want to make about how you want to be in that future, connecting to your center and connecting to that invisible net of threads, center to center, breath after breath. Take a breath to imagine yourself in that future with that intention fulfilled, then back to your center in the present. Breathe in, pulling that future towards you. Breathe out, releasing what you no longer need. Breathe in, pulling that future towards you. Breathe out, releasing what you no longer need. Take another breath and come back into conscious presence in this moment, in this room, with these others who are here. Our web of connection strong. Blessed be and amen.
Our reading today is Map of the Journey in Progress, by Victoria Safford. Map of the journey in progress. Here is where I found my voice and chose to be brave. Here's a place where I forgave someone against my better judgment, and I survived that. And unexpectedly, amazingly, I became wiser. Here's where I was once forgiven, was ready for once in my life to receive forgiveness and to be transformed. And I survived that also. I lived to tell the tale. This is the place where I said no, more loudly than I thought I ever could. And everyone stared. But I said no loudly anyway, because I knew it must be said. And those staring settled down into harmless, ineffective grumbling. And over me, they had no power anymore. Here's a time, and here's another, when I laid down my fear and walked right on into it, right up to the neck in that rolling water. Here's where cruelty taught me something. And here's where I was first astonished by gratuitous compassion and knew it for the miracle it was, the requirement it is. It was a trembling time. And here much later is where I returned the blessing clumsily. It wasn't hard, but I was unaccustomed. It cycled round, and as best I could, I sent it back on out, passed the gift along. This circular motion, around and around, had no apparent end. Here's a place, a murky puddle, where I have stumbled more than once and fallen. I don't know yet what to learn there. On this site, I was outraged, and the rage sustains me still. It clarifies my scene. And here's where something caught me, a warm breeze in late winter, birdsong in late summer. Here's where I was told that there was something wrong with my eyes, that I see the world strangely. And here's where I said, yes, I know. I walk in beauty. Here's where I began to look with my own eyes and listen with my ears and sing my own song, shaky as it is. Here is where, if by surgeon's knife, my heart was opened up, and here, and here, and here, and here. These are the landmarks of conversion. We now expand our perspective to reach out to the wider world. We will now take our morning offering. This month's Share the Plate recipient is a light. A light provides health care and clean water, shelter, protection, and economic opportunity to more than 3.5 million people in 17 countries each year. They work closely with refugees, trafficked persons, and economic migrants to co-design solutions that help them build full and fulfilling lives, recognizing both food and joy are necessary for all to thrive. You may contribute by putting cash or a check made out to UUFN with offering basket on the memo line in the basket. Or you may contribute online by going to our website, uunorthfield.org, clicking on the yellow donate button on the right-hand column, and then selecting Share the Plate. As always, thank you for giving as you are able.
Not surprisingly, I want to go back to those strips of paper that I talked about during our Time for All Ages today. The Quaker teacher and author, Parker Palmer, has taught me so much about life through his reflections about a simple 1-inch wide strip of paper. As a Quaker, he calls them the equivalent of his Quaker PowerPoint. This is as high tech as he gets. In his book, this is a great title, it's 3 parts and they're all amazing. In his book, A Hidden Wholeness, The Journey Towards an Undivided Life, Welcoming the Soul and Weaving Community in a Wounded World, he offers a poetic, charming, and challenging how-to guide for living a more authentic life through engaging in community. For those in sacred circles groups, small groups here at UUFN, the book is the model for forming those circles of trust. I have often thought that that last part of the title is the perfect description for what we in Unitarian Universalist congregations are called to do: welcoming the soul and weaving community in a wounded world. Parker Palmer invites his readers to take a strip of paper and look at it. You're welcome to play along again, of course. One side of the strip of paper represents your outer or onstage life. Here, the words that describe our experiences are image, influence, impact, words that name our hopes and fears as we interact with the world. The other side of the paper represents your inner or backstage life. Here, the vocabulary is more reflective, with words like ideas, intuition, feelings, values, faith, and deeper still, whatever words you choose to name for the source from which such things come: mind, heart, spirit, true self, soul. As we grow, this piece of paper becomes more and more of a solid wall. So picture yourself as a baby, and the vision is like this. There is no barrier as a baby between your inner needs and your outer expression. And then, as we grow up, picture yourself as a younger child, a teenager, and it starts moving like this. It becomes a wall where you likely learned to place a barrier between inner truth and your outer world. This can be extremely painful, but it is not only a bad thing. It helps us differentiate ourselves from our world and protect our inward vulnerabilities against external threats, whether they are in our homes, schools, or churches. Boundaries are a good thing to protect our inner life. But we cannot have integrity if we live behind this wall all the time. It is a painful place to be. It is the place of masks instead of authenticity, loneliness instead of being known, numbing instead of living. And more, we can't find our center if we live behind this wall. As Parker Palmer notes, centered is a word that is one of the most frequently encountered in the spiritual literature of recent decades. We long to find our center in this ever-changing world, to know our place in the cosmos, to have a home for our soul to return to again and again. And so we can take this wall and make it into a circle, which helps to soften the edges and create a clearing and provide a center to our lives. But it is still a wall. Our inner selves are still hidden in a closed circle. We just keep going round and round in the same loop. And so, of course, we need to add that twist. In order to live an undivided life, we add a twist to this wall, circling in on itself, and our inner and outer worlds flow together in a Mobius strip. We begin to touch the infinite. Our reading today, Map of the Journey in Progress, ends with this line. Here is where my heart was opened up, and here, and here, and here. These are the landmarks of conversion. Conversion. From the Latin, convertere, to turn around. Conversion, not in the traditional religious sense, in the old school sense. Conversion is to turn around when our situation stays the same, but our perspective changes. A wall is converted to a circle, is converted to a Mobius strip, and our perspective changes. If I trace my fingers along the Mobius strip, what seems to be the outside of the surface of the strip suddenly and seamlessly becomes what seems to be the inside of the strip. There is no way to separate the paths of the inner and outer journey. Palmer's words. There is no inside and outside on the Mobius strip. The two apparent sides keep co-creating each other. Whatever is inside us continually flows outward to help form or deform the world, and whatever is outside us continuously flows inward to help form or deform our lives. We are constantly engaged, Parker continues, in a seamless exchange between whatever is out there and whatever is in here, co-creating reality for better or worse. Either we journey on the Mobius strip wide awake to its continual interchanges, learning to co-create in ways that are life-giving for ourselves and others, or we sleepwalk on the Mobius strip, unconsciously co-creating in ways that are dangerous and often death-dealing to relationships, to good work, to hope. This is the first, the wildest, and the wisest thing I know, says Mary Oliver, that the soul exists and is built entirely out of attentiveness. The soul exists and is built entirely out of attentiveness. The heart of the spiritual life is being aware of moments of conversion and co-creation in ways that are life-giving for ourselves and others, so we form and are formed by the world. For me, this is why spirituality and justice cannot be separated. They flow together, co-creating each other. It's why I can't dismantle white supremacy in the world until I dismantle it within myself. Why I can't live an authentic life if I get mired in my to-do lists and ignore my soul. Why we can't build a just and welcoming community at UUFN if we are unconsciously co-creating in ways that are harmful to relationships, to good work, to hope. When we live life on a Mobius strip, individually and as a community, we center not only our center not only travels with us, but propels us on the journey. The center in this model is not a fixed point in the middle of a closed circle. but the spaciousness that gives shape to our lives. The center of a Mobius strip life is the gravitational pull that keeps us in orbit instead of being flung out into a life that is not our own. The gravitational pull that makes our revolutions possible. Imagine you are right now journeying along the Mobius strip of your life, the map of your own journey in progress. Here I am astonished by gratuitous compassion and knew it for the miracle it was. Here is a place, a murky puddle, and I don't know yet what to learn there. Here loneliness is my constant companion, and here grief sits at the table with me, and here love reaches out its hand. Just around the bend is where I'll need courage. In a moment, I'm going to invite you to write on your strips of paper, one side for your inner world and one for your outer. I'll give more instructions before you begin writing. And then after the service today, during the congregational meeting where you will vote for the proposed investment of Jay's legacy gift, I will mindfully and with great care join your individual pieces of paper together in a Mobius strip chain of authentic community. If you are on Zoom and want to participate, you can bring your paper to UUFN next week, mail it to the church, simply share it with your Sacred Circle group or a friend, or make an appointment with me. I would love to hear about it, so you too know you are connected to others on this journey. Grab your strip of paper and a pen. If you're at home, grab a sheet of paper or type or whatever works for you. You could grab a hymnal as well to use as a surface to write on if it's easier. And here's the invitation to think about. For the first side, I'll do the questions for both sides, and then you will have time to write and think. For the first side, thinking about your inner soul, your inner life, what do you find on the inner path? What words and phrases or images come to you? If your inner path is filled with the voice of the inner critic, traveling the Mobius strip becomes an assault on our spirits. Listen more deeply for a truer voice. Your inner path is your authentic self with all of your grief, fears, joys, and gifts. Honor them all. Welcome your fullest self. And then turn your paper over, or maybe you will go back and forth, and write your hopes for your outer world. What thread from the future do you want to pull towards the present? What commitments will you make to how you want to be in the world? What actions will you take? Where will you put your energy? How will you give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue? Again, on one side, your inner life, on the other, your outer world, knowing they co-create each other. You may begin. As I said, after the service today, I will tape and connect all of these pieces of paper into a Mobius strip chain of authentic community that we co-create and that co-creates us. Before that, I invite you to take your paper and turn it into a temporary Mobius strip so you can trace its flow. Trace your inner and outer life flowing together, and notice too the spacious center. It's where relationships happen if we let them, linked together, destroying our illusion of separateness. And there's space for more there as well, a clearing where the song of your life sings. What word or phrase or image is at your Mobius strip center for 2023 or for today? Something to think about now and in the days ahead. What is at that spacious center for you? The ushers will now come around and gather your soon-to-be Mobius strips of community. If you need more time, I know some people finish early, some people need a lot more time. All of that is good. You can put them in the basket after the service as well. Here is where I began to look with my own eyes and listen with my own ears and sing my own song, shaky as it is. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. A reminder, again, of our special congregational meeting today after the service. Please stay if you are able to for this significant moment in the life of the congregation. Members are able to vote, but all are welcome to attend whether you're a member or not. And now our closing words. Having found stillness, may we share peace. Having received connection, may we reach out to others. Having heard the call of our deepest self, may we live in greater alignment. Having returned to our center, may we change the world with our love. May it be so, and amen. For those in the sanctuary, I invite you to place your hands over your heart, hold the hand of a neighbor, or whatever is comfortable for you as we share our final blessing.
Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. You will see the words on your screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.
So the issue is my knee has been bent for 6 weeks straight. So actually my issue is that I need to stretch it. Got it. Okay. So it's like I don't know if you noticed I kept like doing this. Yes. I got it. So yeah, so it's like it's not the it's like this muscle is, and then I